I do agree that South Jersey Public's probably overall, they play a more competitive schedule against each other, right? But here's the thing, like what she's arguing is every week in the North Jersey private, you're going to have to bring it. Or what we can see as a team like Del Barton that lost to St. Augustine will beat DePaul, right? Mm-hmm. When you start to look at what we're talking about in South Jersey, right? Winslow might have run into one other team that looks like them all across the board. Yeah. That's not every week. Yeah. So the rest of the week, it kind of looks like back in the day when St. Peter's used to play Schneider, North Bergen, and Lincoln, and those kids, St. Peter's kids always had the best stats in the league. Because that's when you get those off. Yeah. When you playing every week against other kids, where you look across, you get on the field, you look on the field, everybody, 99.9% is going to play football again at the next level. D2, D1 FCS, D1 FBS. Mm-hmm. You don't have really much people saying, I'm off and I'm going to, the tech field here, or I'm going to work at Costco later. These kids come to play just football. Mm-hmm. When you are in a situation where we talk about some of those kids and they're averaging 5'7", 160 pounds, and you're averaging 200 yards a game, who are you doing that against every week? Because you probably wouldn't break the lineup. You need to know that's bulletin board material in every locker room.
And if you feel any way, please charge it to my brain and not my heart.
Of course, everyone wants that Notre Dame job. Everyone wants to be on NBC in prime time every week of guaranteed games.
Even when you make decisions going into your high school or transferring from your high school, those are big decisions that will affect the rest of your life.
The powerhouse, they're right in that Timber Creek area, like Sicklerville and all of that. Mm. But they got guys that have come to the big north and not just, be guys, but studs.
This episode is brought to you by Keep It a Buck Clothing. Stay true to yourself and what you wear, and keep it Buck or Shabazz.
Some people think what I do is easy, but they wrong. I'ma keep it a buck with you. I'm a different breed.
Move! Come on, work. Good.
Stay true to yourself and what you wear. Keep it a buck. Yes, sir.
We back, man. We winding down. Playoffs. We get final round.
Yeah.
A few people still standing.
Still believing.
Yeah, I hear that. Not for nothing though. Like, y'all got the whole hood, man. Like every hood though. Every hood is following y'all.
Thanks,
like,
man.
Even when I pick against y'all, it ain't because I ain't rooting for y'all though. I'm a winner, like you say. Big Body's a winner. I'm a winner, so I like to win, but. Nah, y'all definitely giving the hood something to really cheer for, man.
All right, so we're going to kick it off. I'm going to start with Cedar Grove, you know what I'm saying, was major over Butler, like I said, but Butler did put up a fight, you know what I'm saying? It was like, it was down 27-6, or something like 27-7, and then they're coming back 21-7, then Cedar Grove was like, all right, it's time to put on the life jacket and the boat shoes, and it was like 51-21. So that happened. Big shout out to Union City, handle business. Business. I know you rock with that little square like that too, but
yeah, I was on the rooftop. It was raining, cold rain. It was,
for that game?
Them raindrops was cold. It was cold rain.
It could have been like EO finally got back, got him a little sectional girl off of the West Orange, and then kind of packed it in and got ready for basketball season.
Yeah, I felt it was up for EO. Like, shout out to Sean Pena. He hit me up to invite me to the game on the roof. And, obviously I got parental duties on Friday, so I couldn't make it. But I'm like, I don't want to go anyway because I see Union City is rolling, like a different type of rolling.
Right.
I think that win against Passaic County Tech set them free.
Absolutely.
And they just know it's their time. And I just felt like they was going to cut through East Orange like a wet paper bag. So I'm like, and then no pun intended that it was raining or nothing. But for me, it was just like, that last week's game was the one I needed to see, and I ain't gonna get another shot at something like that. But with that said, y'all think they finally take down Tom's River?
Big shout out to Jaja though.
Yeah.
Oh, he went off.
Yeah.
Shout out to you.
Yeah, 16 carries.
Yeah, I know he was at Pope, John, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He was at Pope too.
I did not know
He's part
that.
of the Big Body record label.
Yeah, I knew he liked that. But the album never dropped. They
dropped this album, put out a few mixtapes here and there, but he dropped this album with Union City.
So him and Talik would have been in the same backfield.
Yeah. They was all there. Him, Zeta McDonald, Omari, we was all in one spot.
Speaking on Talik, 2,000 yards.
We ain't get there yet.
Okay.
Don't put the carriage before the horse.
I just ain't want to lose that.
I'm gonna bring you around
So
there.
you-
I'll bring you around there.
Okay.
Jazair, 16 carries, 145 yards, 4 touchdowns, 7 tackles.
Wow.
Mark Boyd, 14 carries, 117 yards.
Number 6?
No, that's number 4.
Four.
So he has, and then Mark Boyd also has 6 tackles, and then number 6, Khalil Sutton had a 34-yard touchdown from Xavier Rodriguez, and then at the end, Josiah Espino, one of my guys that I've seen that work at ETS with my brother back in the day, he also got in on the party with a touchdown run, and they won 42-0. But I want to shout out the Union City offensive line. That line got some swag for sure. I seen one of the linemen had the shirt up like Zeke. They were running back to that huddle fast, sprinting out of the huddle. Like I said, it's raining and everything. They was getting after it. They was playing up tempo, and they was trying to run through East Orange. So, shout out to Coach Valdez.
Did they throw the ball this game?
They threw the ball 3 times and one.
That's how they get it done.
They didn't have when it's 42-9. They didn't have to do it. Xavier went 1 for 3, but one of his 3 was a 34-yard touchdown, and that was at the beginning of the game. So that touchdown wasn't like, oh, we up 28-0. That was, I believe, the first touchdown of the game, if I'm not mistaken, to put them up.
Wow. So I want to touch on that Toms River North versus Washington Township game. Toms River was big.
Yes, they was. Toms River's on a 38-win streak versus public schools, 14 straight playoff wins. They're the only team in the state to win every group title so far. TJ Valerio is their leading rusher, and he is the QB. What's interesting about that is he has more single-yard passes and career passing yards than two-time All-State player and Mekhi Ford. That's now at Stanford. Yeah.
He threw a touchdown, too.
Yeah.
He's having a good.
He completed his first 5 passes for 139 yards for 2 touchdowns. Nasir Jackson, who was the player of the week last week, versus Rancocas Valley, had 4 catches for 111 yards and a touchdown. Valerio finished 11 for 14 with 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Blaze Bolin, the stud DN, leads the team with 93 tackles and 13 tackles for losses.
That's a football name for sure.
It is. And he is a football player.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. So, and obviously, last but not least, the Bazzy of all Bazzing, Shabazz, Malcolm. It was a big defensive game. We came up big against a tough Hanover Park team, which was 8-7. We actually scored on our first drive.
I want to talk about that because it was 7-11 to be exact on the time where I was like, oh, this about to be a blowout. The
update was quick.
Right.
I'm on the virtual scoreboard app.
And then I'm with you with the NFHS. Like, y'all gotta get y'all life. Like, I'm trying to watch this game, and it's spooling, and I'm like losing my mind to try to get. I'm like, I gotta go to Facebook to see people that's there, like real time. Like, come on, we pay money for this.
I gave up on week 5 with them.
Yeah, I asked for a refund. They sent me my money back. I'm done with it.
So I just had it playing. I had it on a laptop. Like, I'm just waiting for it to play. But shout out to
That's
y'all.
why I texted you because I was like, I'm hoping it wasn't NFHS. I was just looking like, you see, I didn't respond to you. I did not respond to your message when you gave me the update that it's on there. I'm looking like, I'm just gonna go through Twitter and it was.
It was one of them games, man. Big shout out to the head coach, Nas Oliver. Yo, by far, like he's probably the best D coordinator.
And you guys are some road warriors.
Yeah, I
right
do
now.
want to say that though. That's what I shout out to what was it, Politics and Barbershop. What was it?
Yeah.
So I was just on the podcast with Mr. Wembley, and we was talking politics and sports, and I said we talked about Shabazz, and I said, yo, Shabazz is a defensive team.
Right.
Like y'all last couple of games, y'all really been like blanking cats, like, and it's crazy when you look at how much talent y'all got. I would think you would be more of an offensive, high-flying team.
That's because we got a young offensive coordinator.
That's my worry about y'all going into the chip. My worry is what happens when y'all meet a team that make y'all have to be who y'all was offensively last year. Right. And when I mean, like, sometimes you meet that guy, it's like, you're going to have to, we going to score today, But y'all definitely belted.
We still ain't play our best ball yet.
But you know who did? Your son grew up, man.
Mario,
I watch him. Yeah, that boy grew up this year, man. I'm watching him. You can see the confidence that he's playing with. Like the pick he got, it was crazy to me. Like he snatched that. Like, nah, I want that to be mine. That can't be you. And I watched Amari since his sophomore year. Back when I was saying, well, just chill. He's young and blah blah blah. And it's like now he looks like he's supposed to look right now. Like right now he's making high school look like it's time for him to go.
The one thing about him is his ceiling. And that's what I like about him is I feel that he's still got room to grow, and as long as you keep that ceiling open, he's gonna keep touching those points or whatever. But
you guys 3-0 on the road though. That's impressive too.
6-0.
I'm talking about
I know through the playoffs.
Through the playoffs,
Right.
it's hard to win in somebody else's house.
Hey, that when you got Davion Porter, Zayden McDonald, shout out to Zayden McDonald out there at Ohio State.
Saw the picture.
Right now, I tell people, it's real. They high on them. You think it's a game. You think it's Twitter or Instagram. No, this is for
And
real.
call their name. Don't be talking.
No.
You know who you talking
Okay,
to.
keep it safe.
Why not Bass? That's all I'm gonna say. Hashtag. But big shout out to Zayden McDonald. He played major. We got a young buck. His name is Zakir Best, number 13. He is a beast. He make big plays. He come up huge all the time. But that's past us now. We got another journey ahead of us.
Who y'all got?
It's the rival of all rivals. Thanksgiving Day, Thursday. The ill thing is we can't even focus on Rumson, the task at hand, because we got another task at hand, which is the Thanksgiving Day game.
I wouldn't even care about Thanksgiving, honestly. Like,
They have to care about
if I'm a senior, let's say I'm Amari, right? Yeah, it's cool. North tradition.
Right.
Cool. That's for the city. You ain't going to lose sleep really over that. But a state championship senior year, that's going to stick with you.
I don't know, man. I'm telling you, like, this is weird. Like,
No, it's a big deal, but I'm saying, come on. You can't choose Thanksgiving over a state championship, especially if you're a senior. Like,
nah, no. It's different.
That's like Easton and Phillipsburg.
No. This one right here. It's a lot of stuff. Like I see Coach right now. He posting the 62-8. You gotta remember they humiliated us a year ago. You know what I'm saying? There's no way around it. Some stuff like that gotta happen. You gotta line that back up again. We gotta see if that's how it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? So look, we see them Thanksgiving. And best of luck to everybody. Hopefully, the city come out, see a great football game. And
it's going to be packed. Y'all going to the state championship and you got a Super Bowl, regardless of the records, it's always packed. So to add on top of that, I think...
Yo, we wasn't playing a Thanksgiving Day game. We'd have been playing Friday at MetLife. So being that we got to play a Thanksgiving Day game, we got to play at 4 o'clock on a Wednesday. So...
Well, it's a good problem to have to be in the state championship.
Oh, no. A great problem. So we off to the. That was it for Publix. We touched on every Public too.
Speaking of
North.
Rumson,
Hold on.
Ooh, that's
I want to take a little time out to speak on Rumson, the modern day purple people eaters. Since 2013, they won 2 3-peats. The first one was a 4-peat. They've won. They've been to 12 straight sectional titles. They won 9 state championships out of the last 14 years. To take you back to 2010, then I'm gonna fast forward. Since 2010 to 2019, that's a 10-year span. They went to the state championship 9 out of 10 years, and they won 6. And the only year that they didn't win it, they lost in the semis. The only team to do that was Wayne Hills and Bosco in the 2000s. And the crazy part about it is all 3 of them had identical numbers. All 3 of them went there 9 times, won it 6, and the only one that they didn't make it to, they lost it in the semis. But the difference is Rumson continued their dominance fast forward to now into the next decade, 2020s. 2020 was COVID, no football. 2021, they lost in the state championship. 2022, 23, 24.
They was there.
They was there.
They was there.
Like I said, they're the only team, along with Tom's River, to play in every group title. So they lost the last 2 in a heartbreak fashion. They lost last year in overtime.
To Westwood, right?
Yeah, by 1 point.
I was there.
And the year before that, they lost in heartbreak fashion.
So they don't got a problem with having heartbreak losses.
Listen.
Well, they used to be on the big stage too.
It's the reason why they played St. Peter's Prep every year, scrimmage them.
True.
And some years, they got the best of Prep.
They did.
They got the
last
best
year,
of Prep.
and they banged with them this year. I saw it.
And last year, I had somebody ask me, like, they went into the playoffs 7-4, I think, or something. Like, how can this team dog walk everybody in the playoffs? Well, you got to remember, they played in the second hardest conference, to me, in the state, behind the Big North, with Red Bank Catholic, Toms River North, Mondon, and every Middletown South. So
Rumson played Toms River North too?
They're all in the same conference last year, but, you know, throughout the years or whatever.
No doubt.
So, I mean...
hey, man, it is what it is. Hey, yo, majority of my kids actually played against them too when they was at Prep. So when you was talking those boat races, there's a part of the driving the ship.
There were some kids that had some crucial stops that I had to look up their names while I was watching. Cancel.
The Riots, freshman, big time.
And Wilkins.
Yeah, Samir, DB. He was at Robert Morris today. Big time DB at our school.
Nice.
6, yep.
Nice. All right, and then there were Forrest Fumble.
Who was that?
David.
My bad, Big David. I can't pronounce his last name. It's like Ejuku or something like that. But David is a beast. He came up clutch when he had to come up clutch to make the play. Salute to you, dog. He is senior, going out in style.
Absolutely. So shout out to that. I made another. I was going to bring this up once we get to the privates, but since you just brought that up, a lot of these kids, we're going to see a pattern. Besides a lot of these kids played for national championships, national championship. So now they all have been split up, but you got Jaja, Mujahid, Steve,
born winners.
You got Omari,
Ian Adrian,
right. A little piece of Marlon Bright.
Right.
So everybody going to play for the championship were a part. Some part of it were a part of that team. They got a little piece of it.
And shout out to the jamboree that Union City had. It was Union City, Old Japan, and we was a part of that. Then we scrimmaged Pope John. So everybody that Shabazz actually played against is competing for a state final right now. So I definitely had to shout that out.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm ready to go with y'all.
So yeah, we're good on the Publix.
Let's talk about Glassboro for a minute.
Okay.
They continue to do what they do. They dog walk Woodstown 36-0. Kenny Smith, 17 carries, 219 yards. He now has over 5,000 rushing yards for his career, 60 touchdowns. Brandon Simmons, all-state D lineman. He has numerous D1 offers, 15 sacks on the year, 34 tackles for losses. He balled out. Of course, the Saab brothers balled out. One of them actually had an offer since 7th grade from Georgia, yeah.
And he's number one player in the country.
In the country. For athlete, and number 11th overall for his class.
Yeah.
That's the youngest one. Both quarterbacks threw for over 1,000 yards and 14 touchdowns. What's crazy about that Glassboro team is, on a one-off, they can actually beat some Group 5 teams, like good Group 5 teams and Group 4 teams. But on a weekly basis,
nobody won't line it up with them, though.
No, because it's a lose-lose
I was just having that conversation with someone. I said, this year,
situation.
there's some Group 1, Group 2
That's
teams that would beat Group 5. I remember over maybe 10, 15 years ago, it used to be like, no way. But things have shifted a lot.
D1s. It's some non-publics that don't got that many D1s.
Absolutely
and
not.
definitely not Group 5 teams don't got that many.
No,
So,
absolutely.
but I have a question about that, because does that reflect on the level of play, like how hard the conference is?
What you mean?
As far as, so you're saying
I
that
think-
there's
I think-
some non-publics that don't have that many Division One play. That conference is a harder conference. So if you take Glassboro and put them against, say DePaul, no, DePaul has.
That means
Oh,
that,
no,
that
no,
means
no. That's-
that means they have kids that are not going to non-publics, that are staying home to play for the team. Look at a Winslow, look at a Millville.
But that's South
they
Jersey,
have,
yeah.
but I'm saying
They're not big on.
but they're not big on that. And
But look at the Shabazz.
so if they're
That is true.
like,
But then we do see that when they play them, like Rumson and what's the team that played?
Sometimes
Prep?
football
Union
is-
City and
but when
Prep.
football is
But
really
look
like-
at Union City and Prep. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's the toughness of the conference.
No.
Oh,
The
I
style-
Nothing
see what
against
you're
the
saying.
kids.
No, I see you. Yeah.
No, nothing
no.
against the kids.
No,
not
no,
saying
no,
that,
no,
but
no. That's only
your stats
some.
are going to look crazy
That's-
every week if you're playing other
That's
schools. That
some. I don't want
Go
to
ahead.
cut you off. I don't want to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Okay. That's some teams that could compete against some non-publics. I'm not talking about the Joes, the Bergens, but you still got Immaculatus.
oh, you talking about
out
the same
there.
Thomas Aquarius,
You got the-
Immaculatus, those?
yeah,
Okay.
You still
Oh,
got
big
them out
ass
there.
PCTI. He might feel like Glassboro can play PCTI.
there was a
You
time,
know.
maybe 20 years ago, when the kids were staying in the public schools. And you take, for instance, I'm gonna go back because I'm ended up graduating from Hackensack High School 2002. You see, I believe the 2002 class at Hackensack, they were ranked number 8 in the nation. Right? How does that happen?
Well, I mean, Hackensack had a history of that back then, because if you
Yeah.
remember, Toll was
Toll,
there.
yep,
Well,
Toll was
I'm
there,
saying
but I'm
was
saying
nationally ranked.
the
for
landscape of how everything looks now is completely different. So,
That was the 01 team. Yeah.
because we could sit here, right? When will there be a team in a top 25 in the country to be public school moving forward? I don't think none of
From
us can
Jersey?
from Jersey. I don't think none of us
No.
can answer that question. But it used to. I'm saying my point is that it used to be a thing. But going back to the South Jersey teams, when you saying, hey, they can compete with a Group 5 team, that shows that what type of talent that they're keeping in house.
years. They're not keeping anything. It's South Jersey is a lot like Georgia and other places where
But they just-
private school ain't a thing.
No,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Down.
They
when
father,
they-
they father went
Yeah,
there.
like these
The
are
older
regional
brother.
schools, right? That's
Right.
pulling from a whole big area, and it's like everybody around us do this, right? It's not like there is no dominant, because that's what happened. You know, the private schools always existed, but then Bosco turned it to something different, to where it was so dominant and so much attention on it that people started flocking to Bosco. It was to a point where Bosco's third string can start you was part of that. Anywhere. You get to say third string kids, right? So you don't have that effect in the south of the state, right? Because all of those kids stay in their respective communities that are competitive within its own right, especially like when we talked about like Timber Creek, what it was at a point.
Right.
Glassboro's always been, talent. Had a lot of talent. Paulsboro as well.
Yeah.
Those areas like that, it is like Camden Catholic was never a dominant thing down there. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like a kid is going to choose to go to the high down there, or what was the other one? The rival school in Camden that Preston was coaching at.
Eastside?
Eastside. Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah, Woodrow Wilson.
Like that doesn't happen up here. If Camden Catholic is up here, You know what I'm saying? Those kids are probably going to go to Camden Catholic because Camden Catholic is going to travel. Camden Catholic is going to get all of the, publicity and such and so on. So South Jersey is different. I think it's beautiful though, right? That we can get that whole
balance.
dynamic. Yeah, Because what would we be talking about right now? It'd be over, right? We talking about Publix because they putting out good product down there.
Right.
If there was private school like that, well, they all be dead because we looking at Bosco and Bergen now and DePaul and Pope John. So everybody, we had nothing to talk about.
Absolutely. All right. So move. Oh, all right. Go ahead. Are you?
Phillipsburg, they dog Ramapo 35-6. They got a kid on the team named Jet Genovese. Straight dog. He's a quarterback and linebacker. He's a throwback football player.
Yeah.
Well, last name like Genovese.
Genovese.
Better be because
right.
you know the pedigree to that.
The way he plays linebacker, you wouldn't think he's a quarterback. He's that physical. He's always the best athlete on the field. Him and his wide receiver, Matthew Scobo. Underrated wide receiver in the state. Hell of a basketball player. But he ran for 149 yards, 15 carries with 4 touchdowns.
You know the thing about, sorry to cut you off, Phillipsburg, they were in Group 5.
How they go down to Group 4?
A lot of
we asked questions about like how Paramus Catholic would be in a co-ed school,
right.
jumping down to B. Phillipsburg dropping down, and they've always be very.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely, because I remember they played Patterson Eastside in the playoffs maybe 2 years ago, and it was in the second round. Yeah, but they were group. They were group 5.
I want to know how we doing this, right? Because not for nothing.
It's supposed to be on enrollment, so that's the answer you're going to receive.
But again, we already established in North Jersey, Paramus Catholic is one of the biggest private. It's the biggest private school in North Jersey, right? So if you can do it for them, and then you talk about other schools, why is it that? And I think it's competitive. That's what I think it's competition.
It is.
Why isn't it that DePaul, when they have years like this, can't just be thrown into the Group 5 bracket? Because we should have really, I'm not taking nothing from Bosco. They deserve to be there, and they could win it, right? Nothing from them. But it would have been nice to see DePaul up in this bracket this year, right?
Yeah.
And if, if it's another year where Nikki's like, we just ain't got it this year, then, send them down with what their enrollment says. But I think that PC is there because they're trying to build their program.
Right.
You're trying to throw them a bone to help them do that. And I don't know why Phillipsburg is there.
Yeah,
John is a big school too, and it's co-ed.
They dropped.
Yeah, but that
They dropped
like those guys.
Yeah, but
they was up too.
So Pope John being co-ed.
You can't count like the elementary numbers with the high school numbers. You know what I'm saying, like it's a whole.
no, because you look at DePaul. DePaul does have a low enrollment, even though it's a co-ed school. But we do the 2-year cycle of everything. I'd rather it be very transparent, where it's like, all right, based off talent and where we're at, hey, we're gonna compete in Group 5 over the next 2 years. Instead of be like, you get the default answer, oh, it's because of their enrollment.
Right.
Is it really? I don't believe so. Truly, not for every school. So it would be nice to see, like, okay, come on, we know the real here. DePaul is, you see what they producing and who they sending to school and everything. DePaul should have been in A.
Like, imagine this, right? We in the world, we got to see Joe's and Bosco this week. We saw what type of, Joe's and Bergen, we saw what type of game that was. And instead of seeing a 21-point, whatever we want to call that, of DePaul and St. Augs, we got this, of Bosco and St. Augs, we got to see DePaul and Bosco again, right? Like, that would have been, it'd been crazy.
Even the quarterfinal round would have been very difficult too.
I don't understand how they didn't play each other. Period.
Who's that?
And DePaul this year.
We had this conversation earlier in the year. Like I said, we're in a new cycle for next year, meaning that they technically don't play each other, but they can. And I think after what happened to the New York teams, no offense to the home state, take that game out versus Iona Prep, take that game out versus Cardinal Hayes, and now you can use that independent game and you can add someone on your schedule.
Get a third national game, if you ask me.
Yeah, I'm saying, or in DePaul's case, right, or even in Bergen's case this season, because next year, as far as where they were nationally ranked, that's probably not going to happen, right? You talk about DePaul, who got up to number 24 in the nation. That, if they would have put DePaul on their schedule, that's putting on a national game, because there's no difference between if you was in the state of Florida and you playing another ranked Florida team. It would have been you playing a ranked team that's top 50 in the country regardless. And that could have, but for next year, I think we all know, based off what DePaul is losing, they're not going to probably be a top 25 team in the country.
Right.
So I agree. I think, we need to figure out and be real with the schedules and everything moving forward.
Yeah.
So now moving on to the privates.
Moving on to the private. So let's start at St. John Vianney versus Pope. 48-14 now. So y'all really wanted to go with Pope.
Sussex County boys on fire.
Listen, they did their thing.
Let me ask some questions here. Because, again, on the last podcast, I had the call between the Pope and the DePaul game, right? Is Pope John's quarterback back yet?
Yeah, he back.
Okay. So maybe that's where
Yeah,
it's
so
48. Because they're putting up there in their 50 ball.
So he went, Luke Aaron, he went 9 of 13 for 151 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, Talik Hill, 13 carries for 234 yards and 3 touchdowns.
2,000.
And then
Broke 2,000.
now we back to you on the 2000s.
Listen, I don't know. I'm just curious, but when was the last time the Big North had a 2,000-yard rusher?
Aldrich.
No.
No, Aldrich had
Or
1,800.
Oh, it was all-purpose 2000. Sorry about that.
Yeah, well, Aldrich only played 6 games.
Yeah, it was.
When was the last time? Anybody? I know Sandberg and them didn't do it in the early 2000s.
Nah, but I'm going to tell you, before this, Aldrich had the highest output in the Big North.
Yeah.
Right? Because Brill didn't do it, Tony Jones didn't do it, and these are the best that
I
we
know.
had,
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
And they all kind of had like secondary running backs too that had to get, like, you look at Jalen and Kyle, like, it's like, let's say if Kyle or Jalen are now teammates, one of them probably would have got 2,000 yards in a season realistically.
Right.
But it shows the depth also as well. So I don't want to take it away from the kids that didn't get 2,000. I just think they had some
there's
strong
another
teams.
kid that got 2,000. We just talked about him.
In North Jersey?
Abdul-Ture?
Yeah.
Well, he's the one he played in this
I'm
game.
talking about in the Big North.
But he said Big North. But
In the Big North.
They played against each other.
this is what I'm going to.
Big
So
North.
Abdul-Ture had 33 carries for 189
So-
and 1 touchdown. He played in this game.
So when we
against
say in the
Talik.
Big North, we mean the privates only.
I mean the Big North.
Just the privates, or because
No,
there's the Big
just-
North, right? The whole Big North.
No, I mean the original Big North. Bergen, Bosco,
Okay, all right.
Joes.
No,
all that
because the
stuff.
kid at Passaic High School, he
Because
backed off
Ramel
this shit, too.
Anderson from Lakewood, he finished the last 2 seasons leading the state in rushing with over 2,000. But somebody surpassed him this year, Abdul-Ture, because they didn't make the playoffs. So his yards stopped at right at a little more than 2,000. He's like 5'7", 155 or whatever.
What school?
Lakewood.
Where's that?
Ocean County.
Yeah,
Oh,
so what
right.
I found
Yeah,
from
right.
following Aldrich's journey when he was going to lead the state in rushing, all your threats come from South Jersey, and there's usually guys that fit that same mold, 150 something pounds, to like the 50 carries a game.
Yeah, that's what he's getting.
South
You don't
Jersey
get
got
that.
South Jersey got all the records.
Yeah.
Like
But
individually.
So this is why I brought up what I brought up when I said to you, nothing against those kids that have like the 5D1 kids at the same. Their level of play, their competition is not as hard as you're playing Bergen. You're doing it. Aldrich is doing it against other kids that go to Bergen, that go to Bosco, that go to
So
St.
that year,
Peter's,
St. Peter's
that are
had
doing those
independent
things.
games.
Right, independent games of national games in the country. Like, it's different when, and again, this
Playing,
is
you
not,
play
it's not personal.
town ball.
But when you're
Of
playing
course.
town, like if you take some of these kids here and put them in their own town, they're the man in their
Then why
town.
don't you go to your town?
Because ain't nothing popping in your
No,
town.
it
At
is.
the
Like,
well,
What's
now,
popping in your town?
you
But,
can't,
like,
you can't.
so
City
give
is
an
litty right
example.
now.
Right, but you came late. You came late. Nobody
No,
wanted
I'm
to
just saying. I'm
understand.
No. But we can do. But we can do that. But we can do that. No. Let's play imagination.
She just told you. You don't have to do
No,
it.
you don't have to do it.
No. But we can do that imagination, right? Because again, you go to be a part of a program. Because you have a kid like Speedy at St. Peter's as a sophomore that damn near led the league in rushing, right? It's not just that easy at Shabazz.
What you mean by that? What you talking
You tell me what I mean.
I'm
'cause
saying
you
he
know,
said
sir.
about the crack 1,000. He had to sit out, so he's still on the same course if he was at St. Peter's prep as far as football wise or rushing wise. I feel like at least we pushing him to go. You know
So
what I'm
it's
saying?
not about Speedy per se. It's about her point.
So look,
Her
it's
point
still
being, let me
real.
show you. Her point being that it's harder to do that in the league he left, right? You just made the point. You said he only played half the season and got what?
1,000.
That's why they don't go there, right? Because they want to show they can do it against real competition.
Right. So
That's it. That's all I'm saying.
No, so that's telling you is.
But what I'm saying is that's the reason why. And again,
though,
nothing
Coach.
against the South, right? The South Jersey. But what I'm saying is the conference the Big North Conference, like you said, the Bergens, the Joes, the Boscos, Pope, all these schools, they play each other.
Right.
And it's harder to do that.
Right.
You have a school where you have three other kids that's doing the same thing you're doing. You got to spread the love.
So basically,
You know what I mean?
it's
You got Elijah and Dez over there.
Right.
Like they're touching to get 1,000.
But hold on. But with South Jersey people, I'm not from there, but what they're gonna argue is they don't care about non-public. Their best kids go
Stay
to
in Publix.
Publix. Now their Publix will smash North Jersey Publix. That's what they're gonna tell you, and then you sit back and say, well, damn, let's look at the results. And then you look at the guys that's making impact in college and the NFL, who has more, and then you look at the numbers. And it's damn near equal, or some years they got more.
We talked about that before.
But here's the difference in that, right?
And then lastly, they're going to scream, it's way more people up here. We got X amount of people than they do, but whatever.
I do agree that South Jersey Publix probably overall, they play a more competitive schedule against each other, right? But here's the thing, like what she's arguing is every week in the North Jersey private, you're going to have to bring it. Or what we can see is a team like Del Barton that lost to St. Augustine will beat DePaul, right? When you start to look at what we're talking about in South Jersey, right? Winslow might run into one other team that looks like them all across the board.
Yeah.
That's not every week.
Yeah.
So the rest of the week, it kind of looks like back in the day when St. Peter's used to play Schneider, North Bergen, and Lincoln, and those kids, St. Peter's kids always had the best stats in the league because that's when you get those off. When you playing every week against other kids, where you look across, you get on the field, you look on the field, everybody, 99.9% is going to play football again at the next level. D2, D1 FCS, D1 FBS. You don't have really much people saying, I'm off and I'm going to, the tech field here, or I'm going to work at Costco later. These kids come to play just football. When you are in a situation where we talk about some of those kids and they're averaging, you're 5'7", 160 pounds, and you're averaging 200 yards a game, who are you doing that against every week? Because you probably wouldn't break the lineup where these kids got to do it.
But you know that. I know all of that already.
We're talking for our viewers. This is informal. So, I'm just making her point to the point of, like he said, you have Elijah and you have Dez.
If Lazare Brooks came and played for Don Bosco Prep
Numbers
or
won't be like that.
it won't be the same.
Now, let me ask you
can
this.
take someone
They'll be good, but they won't be to
How you
that
pronounce-
level. That's what I'm trying to say. Like
How you
people them
pronounce his
break
name?
into 2000s and
Lasir.
Lasir
Brooks.
Sorry, Lasir Brooks. But
So
Where he going again?
no,
Alabama.
Bama, great player, but
Absolutely.
it's just
His number would look more like Dez or Elijah's number.
Will he be the best in that conference, though?
where.
In the Big North?
No,
won't be?
and I don't think so. And I'm gonna
He
tell you
would fall
why.
in
We
line
see
with all of
him.
them.
We see him in 7-on-7s and things like that, and he does what he
He's
does.
a-
But he looks like Dez. He looks like Elijah. He looks like Quincy. He fits in with the other D1 guys. He don't look like setting state record type of player. He looks good. Clearly,
Right.
Let's be clear. He looks good, but he looks just as good as the other kids that's going to that level.
So do they look
here.
better than him?
No.
So
That's
they-
why their
so they
numbers,
look
but their
equal.
numbers
Their
is
numbers are
totally
not gonna look
different.
like his.
Their numbers look
Because
like
of who they're playing.
No, what I'm asking is, does the Big North kids look better than him?
No, he fits.
That's what
You
I'm
go.
saying.
I know
yeah,
seven.
yeah,
I know
yeah.
7-on-7 is.
I'm just trying
I
to
know
see
7-on-7.
who's better. I want to see
Oh,
who y'all
I don't
think
know
is
that.
better.
That's the argument I
I mean,
don't
if
make.
you're
That's
using-
what I'm
if
saying.
you're using
But I know
7-on-7,
they were division.
They were all at the same in our tournament in the summertime, right? Regardless if they got pads on or not, we could see their physical ability of running, catching, jumping, right? You see them all kind of doing the same thing, and they're at that same level where you like, okay, like if he was just like, you know, built different and doing it, let's say, because he's only probably like 5'10". If he was built like Julio Jones at maybe 6'3", 6'4", 225 doing it, or looking like that kid like you talk about someone that's separate. You look at Jeremiah Smith, where you be like, no, this kid is completely different.
Right.
I can't say that for Brooks, where to be like, oh, he's or anybody that went to the tournament, because they all kind of like,
Right.
you know,
Right.
it's
We're talking
kind
about
of
the numbers,
even.
that the output of numbers you're able to do when you do, and credit to that. Like I said, maybe that's a route that kids should start thinking about. You come to this level, and some kids don't. Some kids say, I want the smoke. Like, I want to play week by week against the same kids that I may play when I go to college. Again, not saying that you're not doing.
There are some schools in South Jersey that are like Millville, coach. Always looking. That's why he always comes up to our thing. He's the only school in the South that actually comes to our tournament because he's looking for that smoke. He wants that work. So
he shouldn't want no work. I was gonna talk about it, but after this game, but I'm not. He blew it against Winslow. Last year, Brooks easily should have had 20 touches. No direct snaps, no curls, no hitches, nothing. He just ran a 9 route the whole game with Cam Miller on him. One of the better athletes, but when you go into Bama, I'm taking my chances every time with him.
Bottom line, Cam won to Wisconsin for a reason too.
Right, but I'm taking my chances with him every time. But he only averages 5 touches a game anyway.
Because if you're an All-American,
Loja Brooks averages what?
Like 5 touches a game.
But this is my point. So now you're going up against Cam Miller, right? So we could all say that Lazaire Brooks and Cam Miller both could probably come to Big North and play and compete very well, right? But you're not going to have those numbers when you come, because every week you're playing against another Cam Miller.
You're playing against
another Lazaire.
But what people, some of these young kids is thinking that, yo, if I get to the Big North, they gonna save me. Like, I just don't want y'all to think that. No. They think like, yo, as long as I go to Big North, I'm just gonna go D1.
You can get it out of public school.
Well, let's be clear.
Period.
There was a time I felt like that was a cheat code, right? It was a cheat code. You go up there, and it's probably like 1 or 2 other guys at your skill level, right? But now we're starting to see that maybe the public schools is a cheat code, right? Because you're going there, and there isn't another you lined up across from you every game, right? So you can put up really big numbers, which is initially why I thought Speedy going to Shabazz would have been a great thing. I thought that he could have put up state-breaking numbers. Like I told you, I was like, I think he could have averaged 300 yards a game, like Pop Warner, essentially. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we see sometimes, right? And there's nobody to really show that you can't dominate the way you die. So now at that point, when you check the physical boxes, right, and you're dominating on the field, your tape is your tape. Right. What I'm finding, like a lot of these scouts ain't as smart as we think they are. They're not looking and saying, well, who is he doing that against? They're not looking. They're just saying, does he have
but sometimes
the skill
group 1
and size?
Group 2, you might have a team like DePaul is Group 3. So if you say that,
but they pick their players, so I know.
So even like he just said, Glassboro Group 1, right? But they got dogs, like it's dogs. So it's not that it's Group 1 or.
You know, I'm about to laugh about Patterson Catholic, where they was forced back then to be Group 1, Group 2, whatever they fluctuated, right? But we knew that they should have been playing with Bosco, Bergen,
right. That's like
DePaul. Because, like you said, you get the talent from wherever. Because it wasn't just kids from Patterson. It was Essex County and Passaic County kids on one team, right? But unfortunately, we wasn't allowed as far as PC.
They should have been.
That's what they was.
That's one of the few schools Patterson Catholic did lose to in the state championship. Like they shouldn't have been there either.
Group 1. Like what's going on with 20-some state championship?
What was that next one?
So, and with that, okay, we'll go on. So St. John Vianney versus Pope John. Pope John is going to see DePaul at MetLife on Friday.
Second time this year they'll play.
Let's go. It's hard to beat team twice, but when you get there, right?
Yep. Okay. So we'll go back around to that. So next one, we'll go DePaul versus Holy Spirit. 41-7.
As expected.
I mean, I want to throw some stats out there, but I think we all picked DePaul. We knew what that was about to be.
Right.
Does anybody have anything to say?
I got Elijah Burris, 5 for 87, 2 touchdowns. Dez, 5 for 68 yards. Nolan, 21 carries, 155 yards, 3 catches, 56 receiving yards. Nolan James also went over 5,500 all-purpose yards in his career as well.
Oh, shout out to you, Nolan.
Big shout out to Nolan.
And then you can't forget about the QB that's throwing on the ball, Derek.
Derek Zimmer.
And I think he doesn't. I can't say he doesn't get enough credit, but I think he's also one of those kids that's having, one of those Player of the Year candidates, like quietly, like he's quietly, doing it because the seniors are going to get that notoriety around him, and then his senior year is supposed to be his time to shine, and he will get that opportunity because he's not going to have those weapons.
That's when it's going to show.
That's when it's really going to show, like you said, Nas. But he was 12 for 15, 185 yards, and 3 touchdown passes.
Big shout out to that kid.
Shout out to you, Derek. Keep doing what you do. All right, so Don Bosco versus St. Augustine.
Basquiat.
So I find this interesting that DePaul they postponed their game because of the weather.
Right.
Smart, because they want to throw the ball.
They want to throw the ball.
And Union City did not want to cancel the game because they want to
run the ball. So as I seen this, I was like, let me see who else is going to cancel. Who else is going? But Bosco did not, and they won 35-14.
It didn't rain at Bosco. It snowed.
It snowed. Right.
It snowed.
It was cold and it was snowing.
Right.
Sis led 8-14 for 139 and 2 touchdowns.
First play from scrimmage. I think this kid really is going to be special. We was talking about him.
Isaiah Alvarez.
I believe it was probably like 67 yards. But they literally, I thought that something was wrong. They say, 11 minutes, 53 seconds left in the first. I'm looking like, that means you either ran the kick return back or the first. But
listen, he had 2 receptions for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns. So when he touched the ball, he went to the house.
Just
that
sophomore too.
St. Augustine's their running back, he's a big boy, man. He was a handful for Bosco to deal with as
very
well.
Physical, Julian.
Very physical. Like he was bringing the smoke. They came right back and answered.
Ask the
and I do owe St. Augustine a little apology, just a little, right? Because I gave them a hard time about saying that they should have been seated higher, but I didn't really read exactly what they were saying. What they said is they should have been seated higher than St. Peter's. And from the look of things with how they battled with Bosco, I think they would have that argument after battling with Bosco like that and then knocking off Del Barton. So I think that, they probably had something to stand on. They should have been a higher seed, but I just ultimately felt like it all ends the same. You know what I'm saying?
No, definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, that just shows how much
but
they
it
respect
did exactly
the
what I thought they would do.
Right.
Now they start crying and, now I'm being unfair on Twitter when, now everybody wanted to be in the DM, but everybody wanted to act.
It happens at the college level when you see some of those independents or you see someone like Boise State that's never going to jump, right? It's not just at this high school level. Strength of schedule matters.
And you're a private school. You can schedule it. You can actually do it. You're a private school,
Yeah. Absolutely. We said that with St. Thomas Aquinas last year. Like, schedule a little harder. So when you come around to this, like, you could have done it if you had to practice. That preparation makes a difference.
And they're looking to.
They improved since last year, but I wasn't impressed with it. And I think that's why Holy Spirit beat them, because their schedule was harder than St. Thomas.
So absolutely. And I think that's,
St. Augs, they played.
After speaking with them, I think
you spoke with them?
Yeah.
So where they at? Recently?
Hey, I'm talking about maybe 2 days after they lost.
Oh, is that
right? They look, as soon as the season over, you're going to look and go hunt for some games.
So
that
River Baptist game, they need to scrimmage, play more like that. The game that didn't happen out of Maryland. They had them on their schedule.
Like a good game for
or a Pope.
You look at a Pope. You look at a St. Peter's Prep. That would have been a great game for them to put on their schedule this year. So I think Coach Holman is definitely going to.
I don't think St. Peter's is trying to schedule them.
I mean,
well, okay. So moving right along to the game of the week. Bergen versus
already?
St. Rose. Oh yeah, what?
I didn't know this is going fast.
I mean, how long you wanted to go?
Jeez,
it's coming to the end, baby. I mean,
there's only 4.
So before y'all,
2.
When we get done with this, though, I actually checked out another game that I want to talk about. But go ahead.
Okay, so Bergen versus St. Joe's 2014.
I had Bergen. But I did hear Joe's was up. Before we get into it, I just, I'm more like a little emotional guy. Season's coming to the end. Had some seniors on that team that I love dearly. So I want to give a shout out to Issa Salam. Heck of a high school career, doing your thing. I meant to shout you out last week because you had a big game last week as well. But best of luck in the future, whatever you do. I know you're going to have a great career later. Big shout out to the Rise and all. Love you like a fat kid, love cake. This only the beginning, for both of you guys. And you had one heck of a high school career.
I want to actually capitalize on that. Talk on that a little something as well, because one of the things, like when we talk about favoritism, for me, it's always hard to compliment kids that I have some type of connection to. So, which is why I never talked about Amari. Obviously, the kids that I know I never talked about. And we sat on this show week after week and never talked about Makai Rozignol,
Right.
who, when you looked at it, like, he left his mark on almost every game they had this year, right? So, like, he was almost like a definite. You can put him in the books for one touchdown at least, right? And if the line or somebody doesn't hold or whatever, you might do two. And I purposely stayed away from pointing that out a lot of times just because of who he is to us at this table, But now that it's over, I can actually say, like, for me to talk to him, my advice to him, well, what I had to say to him was, sometimes your best ain't enough, right? Sometimes, you can go give your all and you're just going to come up short. But you got to be able to live with that. You got to be able to live with that, especially when you left it all out there. See, I understood why he felt that way after the drop pass the first time, right? Because you felt like there was things you could have done different. They called your number, you answered, you got 6. They didn't call your number no more. It's debatable why. Everybody's still trying to figure that out. But regardless to all of that, no matter what it was, no matter what team it was, with the exception of 3 games on the schedule, every time they called your number, in those 3 games, they didn't call the number, But every time they called his number, he answered. And you just got to be able to say, like, they felt you. Every game you played, they had to feel you. And that right there, man, win or lose, that you won those battles. You just lost that war,
And big shout out to guys like Jameer Joseph.
He's going to be a pro.
Yeah. That's
He's
special dude.
going to be a pro.
I called, I hit you with a brutal. Like, yo, this kid out here doing this thing. So
yeah, and while we talking about that, what I'm saying? It's been a pleasure, man. I want to, just say, like, it's the end of a chapter for Joe's. Bergen goes on. So, I don't want to wrap Bergen season up and start saying, but it's been a pleasure to watch, the him versus Quincy Porter things, what I'm saying? The Naeem versus, you name it, pick one of the Joe's receivers. Get well soon. I don't know what went wrong, but I believe his season's over. Naeem Parrish, something happened during that game.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I also see he tweeted or something like, basically like it was the end of
And he
season.
finished as, I
Bergen
think he tied
Catholics.
all-time
interception.
interception.
He broke it.
He broke. Okay, and then he broke it last game.
That's big. Congrats, Naeem.
Congrats to you,
So,
Naeem Harris.
No, definitely. Like with the Joe's kids, Makai, John Mears, John Forrester.
John Foster, man.
Yeah, and he had a heck of a
big
game.
shout out to you, John Foster.
Going to these games, being there, me trying to balance going to my own brother's games and choose, because that shows how much I, really love high school football, for sure. And I always tell, the kids this, for Zone 6, we're not shit without you, because this platform, or all of our platforms, run based off of the athletes that we're, showcasing. So it's been, any kid that's, not playing for, the rest of the playoffs going into championship week. But, I appreciate all you guys, all the hard work that you put in so we are able to showcase your talent on a weekly basis. So it's almost it's very emotional, actually.
Also, shout out to the Bergen staff, man. Stayed together, and when you were down,
They didn't panic.
They did panic.
They did?
Yeah, and that's my point. My point being this, is like, as good as Bergen is, it shows how fickle, the mob is, right? When I say the mob, I mean the crowd, right? Because when things aren't going your way, they're critiquing everything you do. But when they pulled that out, everybody's celebrating.
They went in on the Joe's people.
They went in on Bergen when they was down.
That's what
you know
I'm
what I'm saying.
saying.
They was calling veto all type, but they stuck together and they made the adjustments and they put the kids in position to win, and that's why.
And they was on them just because. See how it works.
But that's
like
how
that.
it's
It's like that on any level. You could get booed. You could be losing the whole game, but it's all good if you win.
What they say, winning is the ultimate deodorant.
Right.
But shout out to the coaching staff because we don't do that a lot. We always shout the kids out and stuff like that.
But I felt like y'all was trying to trick me though. I'm gonna keep it a buck, real talk.
Y'all or
Tristan.
Okay.
So Tristan was like,
put an address on that.
She know why, she going with Joe's, and then I see the game. I'm like, oh.
Oh, you thought she pulled one of your stunts like you did me with Shabazz in Westwood.
I see Lamar Best, and they was up 14. I said, she got me. What happened after the 14? How did Joe's fall apart? And it was 14-0 with 3 minutes left in the third.
But they responded back, so it wasn't like 14-0, and then time just kept passing by. Punts. Bergen. So you said 3 minutes left in the third. Right when time expired in the third quarter, Bergen scored. Literally,
to go into the fourth.
To go into the fourth, like literally last play of the quarter, they scored. Right. So now you back as regular football. It's a one possession game. All we got to do is get one stop to give ourselves another chance. And Bergen surprised me with the amount of rushing attempps that Dom Campanelli had, and 20 he had 20 carries, only 41 yards, but he had two touchdowns on 2 QB sneaks. And then he also managed the game really well with 14 for 17, 117, and in the second half when they needed a third or fourth down catch, right? They were moving the chains every single time. And, it was a lot of punts in that game overall. But, second half, they managed the game pretty well and gave themselves a shot, and they ended up winning.
I think for what I saw as a difference, shout out to Najee Clutch Calhoun. You did it again. You know what I'm saying? You deserve all the credit for that. But in that game, what I saw that was huge is the freshman Taj Gray, number 17. Turn your film on. He was everywhere. Like, I saw him for St. Joe's, outside linebacker, freshman,
miss him.
6'3", 210
Can't
pounds.
miss him.
And he was on everything. And I said to his father, I said, your son became a man that day. Matter of fact, your son became the man. Then his father kind of set me straight and said, yeah, my son was on the bench for 7 minutes of the game, and that's where Calhoun went berserk. Wow. And I think there's something to be said about that as well, you know what I'm saying? But this ain't about Calhoun. I want to bring up Taj Gray because he's a freshman. He's a freshman
All-American at that.
Yeah, and he's going to the All-American game, but he played every game as a varsity starter for the most part. In some games he didn't start, but he played the bulk of the minutes. But Bergen is the best we have to offer in this state. And they know he was there. He was everywhere. He if you looked, you would have thought he was a senior.
That defense, I tell you that, Joe's defense, they were rolling. They were rolling. The energy, you could hear a pin drop on the half of the Bergen Catholic side of the stadium for sure. And he was balling. And then, I wanted to say full second half, like the fourth quarter.
But that's what champions do.
They woke up.
That's why you can't jab a champ.
No,
you gotta knock the champ out.
It's 48 minutes.
You know
we could be down the whole game. You got to finish the game, right? And Calhoun went for 19 carries, 107 yards, and a TD. Even at certain points or certain drives, I'm looking like, are they gonna keep him in? Because I'm looking like they were kind of like hurting themselves a little bit. Like he was being very productive, and then certain downs, I'm looking like he wasn't on the field, but when he was on the field.
How was my guys, Stephen Copeland and Ojai?
I saw Stephen Copeland, and again, no slight to nobody. So I was at Rutgers, and I'm watching their game while Rutgers is in a real good game. So I couldn't hear much, but I kept seeing the same way I saw 17 for Joe's around every play. I was seeing 34. Copeland 34 all over the field around the plays. Now you guys was there. I had shout out to Sean Pena. He sent a text and said, "Yo, I don't know Lamar Best or Nate Bailey, but those are two tough ass kids. He said that the hits that he was witnessing Lamar take, you know what I'm saying, you can hear it, you know. And Stephen Copeland, you know, and it was that Brick City on Brick City. But he was one of those kids bringing those pads. You know?
Shout out to Delaney Flood also.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that too.
I have to say,
he made that play in overtime.
I was like, he's supposed to be on our side.
What happened? Was it on the overtime?
I think it was the overtime.
The overtime play. This kid Delaney. That's what P4 players look like. Those are plays. When you say playmakers make plays, that was Bergen's biggest play of the game. And I say
was it a sack?
No. He batted the ball down. Some people might just look at it as a bat down, but people higher football IQs realize that of course they didn't score in overtime, but if they would have, that play was a perfect first down play call, and it was wide open. But I'm sitting right next to Darren Cooper. He was like, "Oh man, like that play was huge."
I think Darren Cooper, he predicted that was going to before.
He did. He said, "Oh man, I hope I'm right about my prediction because I said it's going to overtime because I already got my other one wrong with not Ultapan, with Ramapo." Mm-hmm. And he predicted, he was saying it during the game. He was like, this game's gonna go to overtime.
Speaking on Calhoun and kid that got hurt, Naeem Parrish.
They're both from the South.
Yeah. Not South
Jersey.
That's not South.
Well, Central. Sorry.
Shout out to the whole short conference and all the kids that's been in the Big North doing their thing for all these years.
I feel like that. I don't know. Maybe you know some insider because Najee, we did feel his presence when.
How about to say he's been hurting Joe's for a little while?
Yeah,
he was at Donovan.
He was at
Donovan, but he still
he was doing a little thing there. So and at that time, everybody was focusing on Michael Thomas, and then I remember saying like,
Sophomore.
"Wait, who's this kid?"
Sophomore.
You know, I believe he wore 6 there or something, but whatever. I was like, who's that kid? And I came back, I might have asked you guys like, who is the running back that was for he came up here and said I could do it up here too.
It's been
Or
going on
did he jump
since,
ship because he knew that they would
St. John's quarterback Zach LaBarca, he was at Mondon, he left and went to St. John's.
Okay, so everybody kind of just
short kids been coming up here since your boy that went to St. Peter's. Savion Huggins.
From Jackson.
Forever.
But I think another underrated person we overlook in that W, and I know you talked about it, was Dominic Campanelli because he kept them out of bad situations. And what I mean by that is in a game like that, all he had to do was throw one interception, and that was going to be the difference. And he, look at his stats. Just what was he passing?
Passing, he was
14.
He was 14 for 17, 117 yards.
So he missed 3 passes on that, and then he ran 20 times. He counted for the only 2 touchdowns they had in regulation. And it's kind of like we just talked about Derek Zammit. When you got all of these trinkets around you, we sometimes miss, the guys that's not so.
He made a tough throw to Anthony Perotti. I believe it was on the 3rd down.
Anthony Perotti posted it on Twitter. That was a play of the game too.
That was one of the play on the offensive side. That was definitely one of the plays of the game because he got his feet down. He's falling down to the ground, catching the ball. It was when I say how tough, like I'm talking about probably 8.5, 9 out of 10 of a tough catch, for sure. And I think Anthony Perotti, I'm not sure if he broke it, but he's very close to breaking the all-time kick return yards record over at Bergen Catholic. So I know he only needed like 50-something going into it. I don't know if he got it, but hopefully he breaks the record.
Short kid. He looked injured to me this year. I think he had hamstring problems. But he looked a little slowed down this year.
Hey, Joe's might have lost the game, but they picked up Gabe Kemp at the end of the day. So
shout out to Gabe. Congrats.
Shout out to Gabe.
Boy wonder.
Welcome.
So.
Okay, so moving on to next week, Friday.
Who's up? Is it
So
only
we'll start with DePaul.
Start
with DePaul and Pope John. So we're gonna do some picks. We might add some of y'all in too.
You might want to start with our Shabazz versus.
All right, fine.
Sobo.
Shabazz, everybody gonna go Shabazz.
Nah,
You don't
man.
have to.
You're not
No,
going
I mean,
Weekway?
I'm
You
going,
got to
no.
take Archer.
We're talking about for the Soul Bowl?
Soul Bowl.
Soul Bowl.
Oh, absolutely, Shabazz. I told you
That's
they
what I'm
shouldn't have come. Listen, just cancel it. It's supposed to rain too, so
Oh,
good
you
reason.
said not me, and I'm like, you got Weekway colors on. You trying to tell us something?
You know, he always come like he big week way.
No, I ain't big Weekway. But I knew what they was last year. They was Donut Boys. They, you know, this year's y'all turn. Y'all the defense. But someone did bring it to my attention that Weekway played.
Old Japan 19-11, and Old Japan is a team that
Yeah,
advances.
we had chipped Old Japan up too.
Okay.
Real talk, like, don't get it twisted. That's how when I've been telling you that the groups don't matter. Now that I'm seeing it, like, oh, not saying it's nothing to do with Weekway. I'm watching Old Japan play. Period. You feel what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I think next year we're gonna be that Group 3, Group 4 school. So I mean, we prepare for all that. But yeah, they did play Old Japan tough. Shout out to Old Japan. Shout out to Old Japan. I'm going to just leave it at that because I don't want to say nothing else. Last time I was up there, I was a meme off this. So I'm going to be cautious how the internet works.
Okay.
And I'm going to play this. I'm going to play this extra safe. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to pull a Tristal, but I'm too bulldog for that.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely big bazzing
I'm
it.
about to say he said take a shot. You like yeah. He said you have to take a shot.
That is what it is.
So-
y'all see who I am.
I got.
I keep it real quiet. I
No,
just
no,
want to say that I keep it
I
quiet.
be wanting to
Like
touch
he
to the
said,
game.
I don't talk about my son. People could say like, oh, she chose but I keep it very
Professional.
unbiased
No,
and
respectfully.
professional until today. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, this is my son's last game was yesterday, and you know what I mean.
Respectfully.
All day.
Oh, I didn't even. All right,
Yeah.
okay.
So, who you got, Shabazz or Weekway?
Big Malcolm.
Okay.
Big Malcolm.
I'm gonna go with Shabazz because Weekway been off for a few weeks, and you know Shabazz.
That don't matter. It's the Thanksgiving day
Shabazz,
game. Like, shout out to Brian Logan. He said we could go 0-9. We will beat Shabazz.
and you got whoever runs the
But
ball,
you know what?
whoever runs the
That
ball
might be true,
better.
because look at the NFC East. Like, Washington been doing their thing.
And lost.
Right? And they lost to the Cowboys today.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like,
And they're going to be hungry. They healthy. They had 4 weeks. We've been banged up. This, that, and the third. They don't
I'm
care.
going
But
with
you,
Shabazz.
but the thing that you have on your side
Okay.
is 62-8 from
He
last
trying- he
year.
trying to do
I'm
it
not.
like
No.
this
I'm
last
not.
time.
Yeah, I'm saying like at the end of the
That's the
day,
only thing we holding on to.
That's what you're trying to do.
someone got to be thinking about the get back. Someone.
Right.
Listen,
And that's the
you're
one
trying to
game.
creep up
And
on
obviously,
low.
nobody on that Shabazz team right now, coaches, players, no one has ever beaten Weekway. Ever.
Anyone
So
that all played
this
that.
would be the first time. You know what I'm saying? So
On what?
It's gonna be a close game though.
The people that
it's gonna
are
be a
there
good game.
now.
gonna be a good
There's the
game.
people
No
that are there
matter
now.
what their record is, Weekway gonna come to play. It's just how it is. It's North.
All right. So who else? So since we're
I'm
doing that,
hosting-
who else plays on?
I'm hosting a game on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Last Zone 6 Classic of the year. Patterson Kennedy versus Patterson Eastside. 100th annual Thanksgiving game. Henschliff Stadium.
Congrats.
I tapped into the live a little bit. Everybody was saying red and black. So who's the red and black
Kennedy.
team?
So Kennedy is, that's Kennedy Knights, and this season, right? They both didn't make the playoffs, but Kennedy has some basketball players, about 3 or 4 basketball players that came and joined the football team. And they great athletes. They're a pretty good basketball team,
Okay.
right? With a winning record, they make the playoffs and everything, and they contributed to the program. And it kind of the last 6 years, Eastside has won this Thanksgiving game.
I'll say like Weekway and all that.
So, a lot of people, are looking like, okay, Eastside is not maybe as loaded as years past. So they going with Kennedy. But, when I host my games, I don't choose anyone. But I do think it's going to be a good competitive game. We got actually have a zip line inside the stadium as well.
Oh,
so
That's hard. You always doing it big,
yeah,
bro.
we got it's the 100th
Seriously.
annual, and I think the biggest thing that's gonna get people to come out. They I think tomorrow they're gonna officially release the entire list. They did a top 100 for each school, and if we're not on the list, I know some people hot.
I just want to say, man, I'm proud of you, dog. Like,
I
I'm one of the
appreciate
ones, I like to
Appreciate
get my
it.
flowers.
Appreciate it.
I remember when you was a little boy with the Mustangs, and I'm up there at Patterson Catholic. His dad is like, that's my big homie, if y'all don't know. The first guy I met in this high school business, bringing kids, and he always took care of my guys, man. So salute to you, Big Benji, love you, you know what I mean? And just seeing you doing what you do is just an honor, man. Like y'all like the first family of the state, real talk. You know what I
I
mean?
appreciate y'all.
That's dope. So okay, so we're gonna do Kennedy. I'm going Kennedy just because they said red and black. I don't know anything about them, but
My people at Eastside, bro. So.
oh, okay. Nas got Eastside. Hold on. How about you?
I'm going Joe Clark.
Okay. Eastside.
We might
You
actually,
got a little inside.
might actually have one of the members from Riff come
So
to the
what do
game
you
and
think?
sing.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
saw
enough
that.
about them.
Yeah, I don't know enough.
I don't know enough about either school.
Yeah.
You know.
You don't want anybody to come up on you. No way, no
Nah,
how.
I just think it's irresponsible to just be, it's one thing to not know something about one of the teams, which happens to me often on this show. But to know nothing about both teams and then to just call out a name, it's like borderline.
You got a little bit of a vibe earlier though
You
today.
did.
A little bit of a vibe. I know you want to be thinking about something.
Scoop. That's
But-
what I
but
said.
here's
I
the
was
thing,
there,
right?
I came in late and watched.
You got to know your sources, right? I don't know these guys. I don't know how they
That's
pick what
fair.
they pick.
That's fair. That's
You got to know
fair.
your source.
That's fair.
All right, so we keep them off.
All right, fine. All right,
So
just
where
want
we
to
at
give
now?
some love to some of the turkey bowls and soul
It's,
bowls.
it's
We'll
only,
talk
a,
about that.
it's
That's
only a
cool.
few left. I remember when I was in high school, we used to play Joe's for
I seen
Thanksgiving.
that. Bossy C.L.T.A used to get it in with them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
we do.
but the whole layout of the playoffs because
Yeah,
That's
y'all
whack.
didn't-
That's whack, man.
It
They do us
stopped.
wild dirty like that.
it stopped because of the predicament of not wanting to get someone hurt before going into the championship game. That's
Yo, and it's crazy because how our game is Shabazz versus Weekway, and then we got to get back on the joint and get prepared for Rumson, right there. So we got to prepare for it. It's not like this year. BS.
I think East Orange pulled it off.
And-
I think they might be the last team to play Thanksgiving Day and then win the state championship because I think they played Barringer.
Coach Grant told me when he was at Shabazz,
He had to do that in 17, Weekway versus Shabazz. No,
he was,
16.
Yeah, he was undefeated and had to play Thanksgiving, then play state championship. He lost the Weekway and won the state championship. Nobody cared that he won the state chip that year. Another friendly reminder.
Okay.
All right.
DePaul versus Pope John.
I'm going Big Pope, and I said that quick. Yeah.
Ooh, you want to lose.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
And that game is early. I want everyone to know, like
That's 11
that's
o'clock.
11
Who got
a.m.
that?
That's not a typo. I know everyone's been going back and forth about who's at what site. Some people got some really bad sources, but I can let you know that game is at MetLife Stadium on Friday, Black Friday. 11 a.m. is the correct time. So I just want to, clear that up for everyone that's been reaching out about who's at what site and who's playing at MetLife and who's not, and we'll say the other teams as we go along.
Coach Don Gas.
I wanted to say shout out to Coach Brian Gibbs. He's the OC over there at Pope. And
Yeah. With my boy Don.
Spartans.
okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm going DePaul.
Okay, Big Paulie.
I told y'all last year.
This was DePaul's year.
It's DePaul.
Yeah. Can you give us some insight?
I'm going
I'm gonna come up big.
DePaul because I do not see Nolan James Jr. not finishing his high school
Good
career
point.
without a state championship. He lost back-to-back to Bergen when he was at Bosco.
Yeah.
Lost last year to Red Bank Catholic. Right? And now
Damn.
time flies just
You
like
scared
that.
me. I might want to go over here with Nas because that might be something. That might be a thing.
Nah, but
Yo, Talik Hill at MetLife gonna be sick, dog.
yeah, it's gonna look good. But
Gonna
I don't
be
know
sick,
if
bro.
it's enough.
No. I'm
let me
not
look
trying
at
to.
this.
I'm not. That's what I'm saying. Shout out to Nolan. Shout out to the great weapons they have over there. Everybody they got. You know what I'm saying? The whole squad. You know what I mean? Family and everything.
But Pope John, when I seen that first game, they just struggled covering Dez.
they gonna do all
that.
that.
It wasn't really much even. It was the Elijah Burr show. That was first game of the season. You get them first game, you got them last game of the season, right? Where it was a very competitive first half, but then third quarter,
They fell apart after they called his
That's
touchdown.
how I feel.
that
about it,
touchdown
too.
back because Pope John actually, I said it on the other podcast earlier, Pope John actually had a shot to be up 14-6 going into half. Talik Hill touchdown gets called back for, I believe, a legal procedure or something like that. But
I think it's gonna be a shoot. It could be a shootout too.
points would definitely be on the board. That's not going to be an issue. You ain't got to worry about that. That game,
It's gonna be a game. That's all I'm saying. Big shout out to the.
I think it will be closer
Only
than
had
the
to
first
pick
game
one.
for
Everybody
sure,
picked the ball, so I had to pick against them. All right, ain't charted to my brain and not my heart.
I had the pleasure, again, The National Football High School stream is garbage. I couldn't watch nothing, but I had to watch some high school football. And Bosco and St. Aug's game was airing on NJ.com. Did it even? And you know,
they're reliable.
I was trying.
I'm not giving them 1 red cent. I'm sorry. So I ended up tuning into Buford and Lowndes down in Georgia, right? And I saw it reminded me of Notre Dame, how they use their running back core. You know, Buford has 4 Division I running backs in the same backfield.
Right now.
And they all get carries.
Right now.
Right now. So, Buford beat Lowndes 42-7, right? Dayton Raiola, which is Dylan Raiola's brother from Nebraska, he went 5 of 12 for 159 yards and 1 touchdown, right? So these are their running backs. Ethan Irvin, 6 feet, 185 pounds senior. Justin Baker, 5'11", 187 pounds senior. Dylan McCoy, 5'10", 187 junior. Tyreek Green, 6 feet, 195 junior. Justin Baker had 10 carries for 105 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Jordan Allen had one reception for 91 yards and a touchdown. Jeez. But you watched Buford just straight manhandle, like it's with these backs, like big back, fast back, scat back. And it just showed you, like, when used correctly, like I've seen other high school backfields that was loaded. But just to show, like, you got 4 power 4 recruits.
This Buford, they started off, they didn't get a lot of respect because they started off.
Just kicked the season off.
No, I'm talking about throughout the years.
Okay.
Because let's just say, like, in Jersey, we have Group 1. They started off like that. Group 1, Group 2, winning all the Georgia states. And it wasn't
Black head
until...
coach, too.
Huh?
Black head coach.
But they started investing more.
It wasn't until they got bumped up to their biggest room is 7A down in Georgia. Throughout the years, then they
just
worked
cut
up to
7A
5,
off.
and now it's 6A.
Yeah.
They worked up to 4, then they went 5, then they went 6.
Sound like the blueprint
then they
now?
went 7, and then finally
Their school
they started
campus
to get the
getting
respect.
bigger.
And you know.
Yeah, and like they say, he attracts those type of kids. They're like, why would you come in? They're like,
It's hard to say no to that. You ever seen a viral video of that campus in
Where?
At Buford? Like,
Yeah, but that's the whole Gwinnett
I know,
County.
yeah, but I'm saying they have one of
school.
like that's even like the Texas schools. They have the
Yeah,
big
yeah,
stadiums and
yeah.
everything, but theirs like is one of the newer,
Yeah.
you know, campuses, facilities that receive upgrades. So I'm pretty sure that's, you know, a good recruiting tool, you know, and winning matters too.
Well, speaking of Georgia, shout out to Makai Jones.
Makai Jones, another one.
He's another one. He's a senior this year. We don't talk about Georgia that much, but he came
Right.
from Jersey, and he's another one of ours. Shout out to you, Makai Jones.
But
keep doing what you're doing.
I wanted to say something about that. See, that's what when I talk about like being a winner and doing what I do, not just me, but like the staff, the whole Brick City movement. It don't matter where the kids go. You know what I'm saying? They move from Jersey to Georgia. Shout out to Jalen Bell. Shout out to Makai.
He's on a collision course with Buford. Grayson and Buford is on a collision
but
course.
my guys, they get there and they play right away. You know what I'm saying? No matter where they go. So if you look over the Big North, my hands is heavy in that Big North because of, if you look at each team, somebody asked me, like, you got like three kids on each team? I said, nah, it's like 9, 10. Some teams got 13. They in the teens with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to let y'all understand. I want y'all to get a vision and see what I'm talking about.
That's a good point, though, because when we got accused of favoritism towards Joe's, our man behind the scenes, you know, shout out to Ahmed Thomas, he said, dudes don't even realize we can't have favoritism because even the kids, the dogs on your team, is our kids.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, even the dogs on your team is our kids, you know? And I'm like, damn, good point.
Shout out. I went over to the Bergen side. I had to, you know, show love before the game started. And I said, somebody looked at me kind of like, she doing over here? But she was like, nah, they know it's deeper than this. You know what I mean? We started our babies were babies together.
Right.
And even though they're spread all over the state and now at this point you could say all over the country, they're still our babies. You know what I mean? They're growing up and doing what they're doing.
I know someone just happy that they just now on one team.
Yeah, that's
This man's trying to make that happen. You know what I'm saying? That's why I give him a hard time. But you can't steal everybody.
I just want everyone. I want everyone to be
something.
thankful for that. To be like, if there was just one true pipeline from Brick City to just any program, whether it's public or whether it's non-public, just be grateful that these kids are at different schools for
grateful,
sure.
yeah.
Speaking of former Brick City alums, I want to give a shout out to Jalea. Everybody knows her as Jelly.
Yeah.
She scored a
Yep.
75-yarder against varsity, no backups.
Damn.
It's her first year wrestling. She made it to
about it.
states.
Shout out to you, Jelly.
I've been around Brick
She
City.
breaking barriers.
She breaking. Wow, yeah.
I've been around Brick City for years now, and she's been the best defensive player. Literally, middle linebacker tells it all. Knocking boys out of their cleats.
That's
Hey,
amazing.
so,
Let me tell you something.
hold
That
on,
go ahead.
So she definitely needs a movie documentary, something. But this is towards the head coach at Scotts Plains. You should have put her and her brother in the backfield at the same time. That alone is a movie. But she still got 2 years of wrestling in football. So I want to give a shout out to her brother Jalen. He just committed to Franklin
And
Marshall.
Marshall.
Yes,
Smart kid,
great
huh?
academic
Yes.
in sports.
Brick
And a
City
shout
too.
out to their dad Matt and the wife.
Right.
Absolutely. Shout out to you, Jelly. Like, that's inspiring even to grown women like me. When I was in high school, I was probably like 100 pounds soaking wet. And I used to be like, if I could just gain 30 more pounds, I promise you I'll play football. Like, literally, I wanted to play football on the varsity team at my high school, and I just knew like they would destroy me, so I never did it. We did have a girl do it, but at the end of the day, seeing her do it and able to actually do something on the field, and that's amazing. So shout out to you, Jelly. Like,
Yo,
you're
and
inspiring a lot of girls that want to do it, and that
Absolutely.
But
are
she like
doing it.
14, like just turned, like she
She's
ain't
been
like
doing it
reclassed.
forever.
Yeah.
Like she just like a young girl out there
Yeah.
doing it, and it's dope to see. But like if you look back, like right, Gabe biggest rushing yards came because she was lead blocking.
Yeah.
He left. We got a little realer, right? But when she was lead blocking, he'll tell you.
Yeah, I remember.
Knocking boys out there.
Yeah, I remember they say like dudes are scared of her.
Yeah. They didn't know she was a girl till she took her
Yeah.
helmet
Yeah.
off.
Right.
Yeah. She's the poster girl
Child.
of youth, young women playing boys sports,
Absolutely.
and she's been doing it forever.
That's right.
But if he would have just put her and her brother in the backfield at the same time, that'd have been the first time in American high school football history that I know of. A brother and sister in the backfield for one play.
They got knocked
blew it.
off.
For
It's too
one
late.
play.
It's
Yeah, he's a
over.
senior. Just for one play.
Right. He wasn't.
But
thinking.
it's a lot
He
more
wasn't
coming
thinking.
from her.
Right.
That's why you gotta
We
have good
need a
assistant
movie
coaches.
or documentary.
Yeah, that's it, right.
All right, so we didn't even get into Bosco Bergen.
I'm going Bosco. I just feel like Bosco. I mean, it's a Bella time. Sabella not going out like that. That's for real. And I'm going with the Bosco.
Yo, if that happens, which I think it's a very good chance it could happen, but that's scary because first of all, we're gonna see more of this. But Bosco young as hell,
Very young.
young as hell. So that
Position,
means
very young.
you know people gonna go spend a lot of money to have to change what's about to take place. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But yeah, I'm going with the Bosco.
Going with the champs until somebody
Knock them off, right? You gotta do that.
I'm on the same type of timing. I already did a few other interviews. Said it. You gotta knock the champs off. Like, you know, king gotta get knocked off the throne for it to be a new king. So I gotta believe it to see it. You know,
Right.
this you talking about a team that if they do win it, finishing top 25 in the country last 3 out of the last 4 years. Because I don't know if there was real polls in 2020, but you know, that would be crazy to see. But I think it's gonna be a super competitive game, and I wonder if Darren Cooper gonna choose overtime again because I think
it could be.
I think it could be. I think
very good
it could be a very close game. But I just need you gotta see it because and when I say you gotta see it, like not just see the win, like for Bosco and the win column at the end of the game. I got to see someone actually play 48 minutes of football or even go the extra distance because Joe's played 48 minutes of football, but you got to fight all the way through. So I'm gonna go with Bergen.
What happened in the championship when Bosco beat him in the regular season, and everybody thought Bosco
At Bergen.
in the championship
Bergen
game.
put the lights
and
on.
Bergen dog walked
45
Yeah, so-
nothing or something like that.
You never know with those guys, so.
You don't.
Right.
It's gonna be packed.
Their game's at 8 p.m. So their game is at MetLife at
Yeah, that don't
8
matter.
p.m. I'm just
No, I'm
letting
just saying.
everybody know.
I'm talking
where
about
it
Feet
is.
gonna be cool.
Oh no,
Don't worry about that.
Yeah,
It's been
I
like
mean,
that
Bosco
every
just
year.
played in the snow, so and it was cold then
At this
too.
point in time,
Well, it's
I'm
cool.
I'm
okay.
talking about for the fans.
For the
man.
fans. Oh,
Sheesh.
They lucky they in a bowl. You know, MetLife don't got no wind tunnel, so that
Yeah.
helps.
I mean, Stretch. Shout out to Stretch, right? You came. That's another person who came from public, came over to private. Just show
Yeah.
that he is here and this is your chance. This is the biggest one, the number one team,
They just
and
promoted
the
him to,
number one
like,
player.
4-star.
I'm excited to see Makai Allen play, and I'm more excited probably to see Isaiah Alvarez play. Like seeing him every game I go to in person, it's like because I ain't gotta say who's that. Like I'm answering other people questions like
Right.
that's Isaiah Alvarez,
He's a national
and he's a sophomore if I'm not
sophomore.
mistaken, and that kid makes plays as we alluded to earlier. First play line of scrimmage versus the St. Augustine game touchdown, but that kid is going to be special for sure.
And shout out to Phoenix. Phoenix is another freshman that's playing at Bosco, and he's getting some time while he's out there, and he's making his imprint. And they made it. Like you said, they're a very young team.
And and don't be fooled. Quincy Porter is trying to cement his legacy, right? But most importantly, father-son duo, right? Father-son duo of Dominic Campanelli,
Vito.
and Vito. I think that is something that they would never forget if they do, pull this off for sure. Like if they pull it off, that's incredible, for their family. But I know that's something that they looking at too.
All right.
Come on, get your pick now.
I'm going Bergen.
All right, Big Bird.
I'm going Bergen.
We waiting on you, Chad.
I feel a lot like Justin. I think that the level of play between the top teams in the Big North is the margin is so thin that I wouldn't be surprised if this did go to overtime. And anything could happen. I'm going to tell you that I think of Sabella as one of the more brilliant football minds in this league. I just feel like his guys are very young, very, very young. I think they're talented enough to do it. We talk about Makai Allen. I think he's undervalued as an athlete, right? Going from a kid that played D line at a point in his career to safety, and now he's a 6'3", 220-pound outside backer and a basketball player. So again, like I just talked about the kid Taj Gray, he's another kid I want to see. I'm just loving the future, right?
Because he's going to be ranked the number one player in the state in his class.
He looks like somebody else that wore number 18 at Bosco.
Whoa. Hold on, wait.
He reminded me when he had flashes. I'm not
You
saying he
might have
with
flashes,
18.
but I played with 18 and 8.
Y'all gonna take it for a stretch.
And
You
you-
saying that defensive
Justin said
players.
I was there.
Yeah, I'm not
This-
talking about
I-
offensively. I'm talking about some defensive
Well,
plays. He
here's the
reminds
thing
me.
that is for sure.
You know what 18 did
Thank
though?
you,
Hold
that's
on.
all.
You know what 18 did though? In 4 years of high school football,
Yeah,
he won a state
of course.
championship every single year,
I know.
wherever he
But
went.
Lenny, what did you say?
I'm just saying overall, I just want to stay focused. Let's bring it back. I just want to say Makai Allen he's someone I'm looking forward to watch.
Absolutely.
Right? And like I do think, and I actually hope that it goes into overtime too. I just think that Bergen's a little older. They got a little more experience in this setting over here down the street here at MetLife. And they're the champs, right? So for me, I'm gonna keep picking them. And it has nothing to do with what I really believe is going to happen. It's because they've earned the right. You got to knock the champs out. And until somebody does that, this is their world. That's the Bergen invitation.
I know if Bosco won a chance to win, Makai better be on offense too.
Yeah,
You got them special packages.
I think that you're going to see that.
I think he was on offense this past week too. I did see. I saw a photo online with him with the ball.
Boy got a breather. He went
in, but I think if they utilize him the correct way, this is a game where your best players don't leave the field, right? And I'm talking about not offense, defense. I'm talking about special teams.
Right.
And I'm going back to Coach Stoll days, right, for sure. But your best players have to stay on the field because you don't know when that big play is, going to happen. I thought, in Joe's Bergen game, that was going to be a special team play that might turn this game around or something because I'm going to like to take care of the ball in the air. Mm-hmm. But I think for sure you got to put your best, keep your best players on the field, for sure.
All right.
So I did want to circle back to what we talked about, the private versus public. There was also a time where one of the things you would hear when you're deciding is any given day, they could be a Nick Saban, they could be the Franklins, they could be Ryan Day, they could be anybody walking through the hallways of the private schools. And what I will say is you guys have that there at Shabazz. And so now it's different. And I'm sure maybe down at Millville, they're coming now. So that opens up also when you're deciding where you want to go. Sometimes it's not just, you have the skill. It's the right time, right place, right person, who you know. So that makes a big deal on where you go now. And I think you guys are doing a good job with that and all the other public schools. So.
Trust in the label, man. We right there by Newark Airport. We the first stop. They fly off Newark Airport.
They say
right at
Shabazz game?
That's next week.
Oh, okay.
And Toms River. So Toms River, Union City.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
this
we
week?
got
Oh, yeah.
that.
That's this week. That's the one.
Okay. So we got to do that one.
And for the record, both Campanelli, 2 years ago, both Campanelli brothers did win the state championship in the same venue on the same night, just to give anyone some background. So
One of them was bleeding that night. I remember that.
yeah, I think they hit him in the head with the cooler.
Right, with the cooler, right.
I mean, that's a good problem to have at the end of the game.
So Union City, Tom.
I'm going Union City big time. Bull Valdez, my boy, get right.
I'm going Union City.
I haven't seen enough of Union City. Toms River definitely ain't as good as they have been in the past. But like Bergen, I'm going with the champ until you beat them.
They're going to get beat.
They won all of the group titles so far.
See Michael Ford brothers on that, Tom's
Toms
River team. I just got a gut feeling. Something tells me that something good is supposed to happen for Will Valdez and the UC Soaring Eagles. And what I seen Friday night, forget the score and everything, just like how bad they wanted, like just seeing, of course, they wanted the bad versus PCTI because that's been their kryptonite where they were 0-8 versus them all time, and they finally go out over the hump. But I think something, they only got to go, it's really, I clocked it on my way back. It's only 8 minutes from Union City, and I had to drive past MetLife on my way back. So, their town is going to come out and support. And for all the programs, whether it's Rutgers next week or MetLife, this is the last game of the season. Come fill up the game. Let's get back to old times with those big attendance. Don't just stay home to watch the stream. MetLife seats 80,000. So even though we got 7,000, it looks empty. We need 15,000 plus inside those type of venues so those kids can feed off of your energy. Because sometimes, like, MetLife is just like, like last year, I was just like the vibe, it was like really no energy in there. So, but I'm going Union City.
Soaring Eagles.
Okay. How about you? Union City.
Union City.
All right. All right. Well, there we go. Is there anybody else playing that I missed? I don't
Glassboro, Cedar Grove. We have to choose a winner.
Okay.
Ooh. Damn. I'm going Cedar Grove.
about either one of those things.
I know about Cedar Grove.
I'm going Cedar though.
I do know about Cedar
I know
Grove.
a lot about Cedar Grove.
I'm going with Glassboro on this one.
So are you the ones that you're sitting out on? Are you taking voids? Like you're not getting no points?
You can do what you want to do with it.
Will my points still go up?
Right. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Do what you want to do.
Yeah, I'm going. All right, so who you taking?
I guess I'm going to go see the Grove too.
Ooh.
Listen, if he's not going,
I'm starting to see
then I'm good.
North Jersey divide on South Jersey divide on these picks.
Sorry. I played Cedar Grove before.
Yeah, they don't bet on what they know.
Actually, that's funny that you said that because, of course, I would like to see the North win, being from the North, but
And they want to see the South win too.
and of course they do.
So shout out
But
to the
if
South.
I'm right in the middle. I don't care.
But I think Glassboro. I think Glassboro's gonna. I don't think like this
It's gonna be a good
year.
game.
Certain teams had good teams, good records and whatnot. But what I kept saying throughout the season to different teams, they're not that team from last year. They're not that team from the year before that. They might be 5-0, but they're not winning the same way how they used to
That's
and whatnot.
how Russell
And I feel like maybe that's the feeling that Cedar Grove gives me where. Yeah, they're rolling, they winning and everything, but are they better than some of those other Cedar Grove teams? And right now, I'll say no. So I'm gonna go with Glassboro.
All right.
They're gonna trick play the heck out of them dudes.
Okay, let us know who you have this week. So that's DePaul versus Pope John at 11 at MetLife on Friday, November 29th, and Bosco versus Bergen at 8 p.m. And I don't know the times for the other games.
We got 2 o'clock, Toms River, North Virginia City, 5 p.m., Glassboro versus Cedar Grove.
Okay, all right, and that's another episode of
Keep it a buck.